No. Thank you. Right, next up we have plan change. Where am I? Item 10. Councillor Baker would like to move this, and we have, I think, Tony. Yes, Tony's at the table already. Councillor Newman would like to second.
Kia ora, Mr Chair, committee members, IMSB members. I'm happy for the report to be taken as read and answer any questions, or I can take you through it. I'm conscious of the fact you're running out of time, but happy either way, and also have some maps that may assist as well.
Yeah.
Just through the chair, maybe Tony, if you need to show a map, that's great. Maybe just do a couple of minutes introduction about what the report's about. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. So yeah, this is a proposed plan change we're looking at. It involves rezoning privately owned land. It's owned by the Kingsley Village Limited. It's currently zoned as open space. It's no longer required as open space. Community and Social Policy have advised us of that. And so we're seeking to rezone it to single house residential. I'll just flick onto the maps. So it's the zoning as open space stems from the Kingsley structure plan back in 2011, and the landowner was in agreement to, for their land to be zoned as open space as a future sports park. But in the subsequent years, the sports parks have been developed at Karaka, so it's no longer required there. So we're talking about 1039, 1023 Linwood Road. There's an existing reserve fronting Linwood Road that would remain there. So the item's been to the former planning committee on a couple of occasions, and last time it was deferred pending the release of the NPS on highly productive land. Bottom line on that is the NPS doesn't affect the rezoning. It only relates to rural or rural productive land. Nevertheless, the AUP does have an objective in terms of avoiding elite soils and avoiding, where practical, on prime soils. This is an area of prime soils. But however, as you've seen in the structure plan, the two properties were part of the structure plan area in which urban zonings were applied. If they were not zoned as open space at that particular point in time, they would have had an alternative urban zoning, most likely single house residential. And they are contiguous with that zone. They're currently in pasture and have never been used for rural production. The second matter on which the item was deferred was really infrastructure, and my report provides an infrastructure update. Essentially, water care services, so there's no public water supply or wastewater reticulation in the area. Water Care Services is working on that, and also the developer, Kingsley Villages Limited, are working on their own private systems. That's quite well advanced. They've got a water right for water supply, and they're working on a resource consent for wastewater. The local iwi have raised the infrastructure issues as a key issue to them, but I'm confident they're being addressed via either Watercare's approach, which is will take a bit longer, or the private developer's approach. So they will be addressed. In any case, development can't occur, or it's a non-complying activity until services are in place. So they were the two key reasons the item was deferred last time. So it's just a report back on those two matters. There are other issues that have been raised, but they're addressed in the report. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
So thank you, Tony. And just, I guess, this was my, my concerns have been brought up through your presentation, but I guess the very simple way to put it is already zoned urban land, urban zone, sorry, and also the reason why it was zoned open space, that reason is no longer needed because it was done somewhere else.
That's correct.
So that's largely the simple.
Yep.
Any other questions? Councillor Darby and then Member Ashby.
Just in terms of the plan change that's required, is there a possibility of bundling this with another plan change to reduce costs rather than have it as a standalone plan change? Councillor
Darby, was originally part of Plan Change 60, but it was pulled out because of these various issues. We could bundle it with this next plan change, the equivalent open space plan change, which is due to come before you in June, July, middle of this year. So that would be could be a possibility.
Sorry.
Yep, no, that's my answer.
Can you give us an idea of what the savings might be? And I haven't asked you this prior, so maybe you've got an idea. What would the savings be if we bundled this with the open space plan change?
The key savings would be in the end of the process of the hearing. You'd only need one set of commissioners, one panel to consider the plan change. The notification costs are quite minimal in any case, so it's really the hearing costs which democracy services carry.
So you'd be running a whole unique process for this plan change as opposed to bundling it with the next one, the open space, and there you are sharing the costs. And could that be a saving of several tens, or is it 10,000 or 20 or 50?
So in the past, the equivalent plan changes have taken, we'd had 2 to 3 commissioners, and the hearings have taken 1 or 2 days. So I think you're looking at under $10,000 costs, hearing costs, or around about that figure.
Can I just take some guidance from the Chief of Strategy then, considering that we do need to be looking for every $10,000 and $20,000 number, is there merit in the eyes of the Chief of Strategy to bundle this with the forthcoming plan change?
Through the chair, I think it is a really good idea to look at that. And it doesn't sound, Tony doesn't seem to have any particular reasons why that can't be done. So we're certainly happy to proceed on that basis if the committee chooses to agree to notify or to put together a plan change.
Yeah, happy to take it, but my concern, I think it was bundled before and then it was unbundled under the last term. So I think as long as the timing is fine, we should, if it's going to be pretty close time-wise. So how would we change that? On the...
It'd be probably a 3 to 4 months difference in notification. That's what you're looking at, really.
Okay. But that, we believe that's fine. I just don't want to make a decision based on...
Yeah, I believe that's acceptable, as long as it's not unbundled at a later stage, I suppose.
I guess that's my concern, is that the last committee unbundled this and then we've delayed it, and then trying to bundle it again.
Sure, I mean,
Strange
through the
work.
chair, that's the risk. But I mean, we're prepared to, on the basis that another set of plan changes to effectively tidy up open space zone changes. This is slightly more than a tidy up. So if the decision was made today to go, yep, go ahead, I think there's a pretty low risk of the tidy up plan change is going to come to you in a few months' time, that won't be approved through the process. So I think it's a pretty low risk.
So would we... I guess we need some advice on wording. Would it just say approve the preparation of the proposed plan change with a word that said that could be incorporated into a wider plan change? I don't know. I just don't want us to come back for another decision.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, this would clearly, if you agreed with this would clearly give us the go-ahead to prepare and to notify. We could put in like a notification date or working it with an upcoming plan change, or we could just leave it and just do it that way anyway, as you've requested. So it really depends. If you want that put into the resolution, we can. Otherwise, that's just what we will do. We'll do it, and we'll do it as part of the future plan change.
So nothing needs to be changed then?
Doesn't have to.
Okay, thank you. Member Ashby.
Thank you. Thanks for the report, and I really appreciate the background and the context. I just have two questions, and the first is they both relate to the mana whenua engagement with this. So the first is just what work's been done since June to, I guess, address the concerns. You mentioned that you felt that they'd be able to be addressed, but I just wonder, in terms of their specific concerns, how have they been communicated back to them, and are they sort of still in the loop as to where this is going?
So we've asked Watercare Service and the developer for updates on where the infrastructure program is at, and that's just come in the last week or so. So we've yet to go back to iwi to advise them of that fact. We've talked to IMSB, yourselves, and provided an update there, but we're yet to go back to those individual iwi.
Thank you. No other questions? We will thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
And we'll move. All those in favour? Any opposed? Oh. Thank you, Member Ashby. You'd like your abstention recorded? Thank you. Right, we have